It is being called a 1 in 1,000 year weather event. Our Manuel Bojorquez is tracking the latest.
Tonight, a massive cleanup after unprecedented flooding. Rescuers had to use boats to access Fort Lauderdale's hardest-hit neighborhoods, bringing people and pets to safety after a night surrounded by floodwaters.
Well, I had an intro idea for this video, my last video here in Texas, but as you guys saw, there is flooding, there is complete mayhem in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, which is where I live. 20 inches of rain fell on Wednesday night in a matter of 2 hours in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. They're completely flooded, drenched. It's insane. It's a state of emergency down there. My flight was to take out today, which is Thursday, April 13th at 6 p.m., flying back to Fort Lauderdale, but the airport is completely closed. The flights now from Austin to Florida on Friday are all taken up. So now I'm just stranded here in Austin. I had to switch hotels because my hotel was all booked. My hotel that I'm staying at tonight is booked up for tomorrow, so I don't know what I'm going to do. I might have to stay at the lodge. I might have to sleep in one of the couches there. May have to call up Doug Polk, see if that's okay with him. It's pretty wild, but I guess I have to say it's a beautiful day here in Texas. I get to play some poker. I'm not under 3 feet of water, so it could be worse. I'll just stay here for a while, play some poker. My thoughts go out to everyone in Fort Lauderdale, though. I hope everyone was safe. There was cars stranded. People were stuck in their cars. People were stuck in the Fort Lauderdale airport for hours. So I guess it could have been worse. I could have flown home yesterday and got stuck in the Fort Lauderdale airport for 10 hours, like some people. I don't know. It's crazy. But yeah, we're going to go play some 5, 10, 25 with some of the players I played with on the stream yesterday. It should be a good game. I'm going to walk there now. Let's get down to the table. Let's get to the action. Let's go. I arrive at the Lodge Card Club around 2 p.m. I head to my box where I'm able to keep all my chips and money. It's a great thing they have here. It's nice and safe. I grab my chips. I head to the table where I buy in for $3,000 for this 5, 10, 25 game. Unfortunately, right off the bat, before I could even get my camera set up, I ended up losing $1,800 when I got scooped in a double board PLO bomb pot. So I add on for another $2,000. And hopefully I can try to get it back in this hand where there's a raise to 75. I 3-bet ace 5 suited to 250 bucks. There's a big blind cold call and the other player folds. We go heads up to the flop. 7 deuce deuce with 1 heart. When the big blind cold calls my 3-bet, I think he's going to have a lot of hands like ace queen, king queen suited, medium pocket pairs. I think this is a great board for my perceived range. When I 3-bet pre-flop, I should have all the jacks, queens, kings, and aces. So I continue for a large sizing $350, and the big blind makes to call. Turn card jack of diamonds, he checks over to me, and now I have a decision to make. He's got $1,100 left in his stack. Should I check and give up here, or should I try to apply max pressure? I decided to go for it, try to get him to fold out his medium-sized pairs. I jam all in here for his $1,100 stack. He looks back at his cards and folds, and we take this one down. I remember being super tilted with myself because I lost $1,800 in the double board bomb pot. I don't know the exact details, but I remember I called off a big pot-sized bet on the river with 2 pair on each board, and my opponent had a full house and a straight, so I ended up just getting scooped there. I have no idea how to play PLO bomb pots. I am a pretty big fish when it comes to that. Well, in this hand, we look down at queens on the button. We 3-bet a cutoff open to $250 before the small blind cold 4-bets me to $700. A weird spot to be in here. Facing a 4-bet, we are holding the 3rd best hand you can get pre-flop. My opponent's showing a ton of strength, but this is Texas. People love to put the pressure on, given the fact that he could possibly be making a move, thinking that I'm making a move here on the button. My hand is very strong. He's got about $2,500 in his stack. I decide to 5-bet jam here with pocket queens, thinking he could easily have pocket 10s or pocket jacks. He can have ace king, ace queen suited. If he's got aces or kings, I guess we're just going to get stacked. Well, luckily for us, when I go all in, he doesn't call right away, which means he doesn't have aces, kings or ace king. We are now rooting for a call, and eventually he does put in the chips, and just like that, we're playing almost a $6,000 pot here in Texas at the lodge. We decide to run out the board 2 times.
You want to see me throw up.
Oh my goodness.
No! Have fun, luck.
Thank you. The first board came out low, and the second board came out with a queen, giving us a set. My opponent didn't say he had ace king, so I'm not sure exactly what he had in this situation, but after a kind of a rough start, losing $1,800 in a bomb pot, we end up winning over a $6,000 pot here, now sitting with a $7,000 stack. A new player now sits at the table in seat number 5, and I look down at jacks here in the hijack. I raised to $75. This particular player really hasn't played a hand yet, and he makes a call on the button. So we go heads up here, out of position with pocket jacks to a 10 high board. I c-bet for $100, and he makes a call. Turn card king. It's an overcard to my pair, but I'm not really too concerned with him having many king X hands, other than a hand like king 10. Think he would 3-bet ace king pre-flop. Don't think he's calling on the flop with a hand like king queen or king jack. So I continue for 135, and he makes the call. River card 4, and I think I can go for thin value against an ace 10, a queen 10, a 9-10 hand. I settle on a river sizing of $250. Just knowing these Texas players hate to fold, I'm going for thin value here, and we end up getting called. I show my jacks, and the button shows pocket queens. Wow, that was very unexpected. Feel like he would be 3-betting that hand pre-flop or maybe raising on the flop. But all in all, I think we lost a minimum here, jacks versus queens on a 10 high board. Before we move on to the next hand, I have a couple announcements or just things to say. If you guys have Instagram, make sure to go over and follow me on Instagram, LexOPoker. I almost have 11,000 followers there. I usually do some daily or weekly updates where I'm at, where I'm traveling. I go over some hand histories as well. I also sell a lot of action there for upcoming live streams or possible tournaments. Also, I just confirmed a seat on May 18th for Hustler Casino Live out in Los Angeles, California. I'll be playing 10, 20, 40 on the live stream. I'm super excited for that. Go over to my Instagram to buy some action there. All right, on to the next hand here, where I look down at another premium pocket queens again. This hand starts off a little bit funky by J-Win limping under the gun for $25. J-Win is a very solid player who plays here in Texas on a lot of live streams. I've known him now for a while. This is a little bit suspect, but with pocket queens I raised to $100, and I end up getting 3 callers before J-Win decides to now limp re-raise me to $900. I asked to see his stack. It looks like he's got a little over $3,000 total. Maybe $3,500. This is another weird spot here with pocket queens. We have the third best hand. We're facing a huge raise. I can't really 4-bet here. The sizings are just a little bit weird. If I call, I'm also allowing other players to call as well. With the $25 straddle on, it's less than 150 big blinds. I think against this player type who is definitely capable of making some moves, I think I just either got to fold my hand or go with it. And I don't think I'm ever folding queens here in Texas, so I decide to just ship it all in. The rest of the players fold, and J-Win makes the snap call and shows pocket kings. Oh shit, we are in a nasty spot here. Pocket kings versus pocket queens. We decide to run out this one 2 times as well. 8,000 in the middle, and J-Win hits quad kings on the first board, but the second board has a queen on it. We fade the runner, and luckily for us, we were in a gross spot, queens versus kings, and we end up chopping this one up. Well, it's not a Texas game without playing the stand-up game, aka the new knit button game. We now have each a button in front of us. If you're the last person to win a pot in this game, you owe everyone at the table $50. Well, in this hand, I've got ace jack. I raise it up here to $200. There's a call and then a big 3-bet by a tighter player, and I have to let go of my hand here. I still have the knit button in this hand when I have jack 9 suited. I raise to $75. I get 3-bet here by the cutoff to $250, and with the knit game on, I've got to make the call and see a flop. So I do, and it comes out ace high with a jack on it, giving me second pair. I check over to my opponent. She continues for a $250 bet, and I didn't call a 3-bet with jack 9 suited in the nit game to fold second pair, so I make the call and bink the turn with the 9 of clubs, giving me 2 pair. I check over to her again, and she now continues for a large sizing of $700. In this situation, with a flush draw on board, I just rip it all in, and I get pretty quickly called. So another big pot here in Texas with 2 pair. We're going to see 2 rivers here, and the first one is terrible for me. It's an 8, so now it counterfeits my 2 pair, and the second board comes with a king of diamonds, bringing in the flush. I show my 2 pair, and she mucks her hand. So somehow we are good there on 2 runouts after getting counterfeit, and the flush comes in. We end up winning a big pot here with jack 9 of hearts, and the best thing is we did not lose the nit game, so we are not going to have to pay out this big bounty. Sitting on over $9,000 now. I'm in the game for $5K, cruising along with about a $4,000 profit. Next hand here, we're playing another nit game. It's about an hour after that jack 9 of hearts hand. I've got ace king from early position raised to $150. My goal here is just take this one down pre-flop, given the fact that a lot of people have their buttons. People aren't going to be fighting too hard, or just go heads up here and give myself a better chance of winning. Well, that's exactly what happens when Jaywin makes the call in the small blind and all the other players fold. We go heads up here in position to king, king, deuce, rainbow, flopping trips with the best kicker. He checks over to me. I bet $100 and he makes the call. Turn card, another king, making quads here on the vlog in Round Rock, Texas at the lodge. He checks again, and now, of course, this is a great card for me. It improves me to the best possible hand, and it's a good card for me to potentially bluff with. If I had hands like ace queen, ace jack, queen 10, queen jack, I could put a lot of pressure here, knowing that Jaywin really can't have too many strong hands on this board, given the fact that he just called out of the small blind. He really can't have anything better than maybe pocket 8s or pocket 9s. He would be 3-betting all of his bigger pocket pairs, and he knows that as well. So sitting here with quads, I bet $250 and Jaywin makes the call. So now I'm convinced he has one of those smaller pairs. Going to the river, which is a 3. We've got quads. Jaywin checks over to me, and I decide to go with a big bet here. I make it $1,200. If I was bluffing with an ace high hand, a queen high hand, or a jack high hand, I would want to try to put max pressure on him. Try to get him to fold out pocket 7s or pocket 5s. Jay now goes into the tank for a very long time. He's thinking over his options. We are praying for a call, but in these situations, I don't want to give anything away. I'm just staring at the board, trying not to show the fact that I've got quads underneath my hand here. Eventually, Jaywin comes up with a plan. He says he has 1 red card and 1 black card, and if he turns over a card and it's red, he'll make the call. If it's black, he'll make the fold.
Yeah. Okay, so once again, red I call, black I fold. I call.
Calls. Quads.
Quads. Yeah, exactly.
I guess in Jaywin's mind, it was a 50-50 flip whether he should call or fold. Luckily for us, he picked the 3 of diamonds. He said he had pocket 3s, and we end up getting a call here, winning a massive pot, getting rid of our nit game button, and we have over an $11,500 stack now. Alright, this next hand is a very interesting one. Some background information here. We're playing yet another nit game, and there's only 3 players left with their nit button. Now, this one is $75 per person, so the tax has gone up. With 3 people left, there's an early position raised to 75 by a player who still has his button. There's 2 calls, and I've got jack 10 of diamonds in the straddle. I make the call. We end up going 4 ways to queen 9 deuce 2 spades. I flop open-ended. I check, and the initial raiser, still with his nit button, makes it $300 here on the flop. Now this is when the nit game really adds a ton of action. He is very incentivized here to win this pot because there's only 3 more people left. He wants to beat me here, and I want to try to beat him too so we don't have to pay out the tax. It's $75 per person. Well, we end up going heads up here to the 9 of hearts on the turn. I consider leading out on this turn card, but I decide to check over to my opponent, who continues for a $500 bet, giving me a pretty good price to call here, especially with the Nick game. I'm open-ended here. Any king, any 8 will give me a straight. Maybe even my jack or 10 could be good for a pair. I also consider maybe bluffing if a spade comes out on the river. I make the call, and we do not get there. We don't hit any of our outs, but the board does double pair with another queen. I could check and most likely lose to his pocket pairs, his ace-high hands, his king-high hands, or I could try to bluff. I feel like with this queen pairing, it's better for my range than it is for his. It's hard for him to have a full house here or a very strong hand, so I decide to lead out now for $1,300. My bet here is very polarized. I'm basically saying I've got quad 9s or a queen, but I don't think he has a queen very often. I don't think he has a 9 very often. I think a lot of the time he may have just been double barreling there on the turn. He could possibly have a pair that got counterfeit here. He could have a straight draw or a flush draw that missed as well. This is just a Hail Mary attempt to try to take this one down. It does suck, though. After I put out this $1,300 bet, he doesn't snap fold, which is obviously what I was hoping for. And now I'm praying for him to fold. He probably has a pocket pair. If he's got aces or kings, he's probably just going to call me. But it's very hard to get aces or kings in the Nick game. I think now, once he's tanking for this long, he could possibly have a hand like ace high or maybe king high. I really haven't shown down any bluffs this entire session. I've been playing pretty solid. I've always had the best hand. I went all in with pocket queens and won a big pot. I had 2 pair when I shoved all in earlier, and then I made a big bet on the river and showed down quad, so I'm hoping my image will help us here. I am praying for a fold. Come on, man, let this one go. He's giving off the body image that he's thinking call or fold. He's thinking call or fold, and then he surprises me when he raises me here on the river to $3,000. Ugh, God, this bluff didn't work for us. I fold my jack high. He has to show the table, though, to get rid of his nit button, and he shows ace-3 offsuit for a re-bluff on the river. A 6 spot by him. I'm not really sure what he was trying to accomplish there, because if I did have a queen or a 9, I would never be folding, but I guess he read me for weak, and he ends up taking this one down with a sick rebluff on the river, and we end up losing a lot in this hand. Not only did I bluff off over $2,000, to make matters worse, I also lost this Nick game. $75 per person, a $525 penalty here. That cuts into my profit. At one point, I was up almost $6,000, and now 6 hours into the session, I end up calling it a night with around a $2,000 profit. However, on the positive side, I did find a place to stay for my last 2 nights here in Texas. I booked a flight back to Florida on Saturday, flying into Miami. Thankfully, I found a way back home, and I also talked to Skull Mike, who puts together all the live stream games here at the lodge. He told me there was a seat open for tomorrow's 5-10-25 game, so I'll be playing that as well. Be on the lookout for that vlog next. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Please comment down below, like, and make sure to subscribe to the channel. And until next time, I'll see ya.